and enjoy the action. We'll bring you the goal news from tonight's playoff games, but our main event is here at Ibrox. Rangers against Dundee with Billy Dodds, Rory Loy and Liam McLeod.
Thanks, Kenny. Of course, it was one of those games early in the season against Dundee that have caused Rangers all kinds of problems with regards to their title challenge fading away over the last 4 weeks or so. And that goalless draw at Dens Park and that much postponed fixture, which came straight off the back of that defeat in Dingwall just a few days before. 5 points dropped, and it means that Rangers don't win this one tonight, and they have been fallible at times at Ibrox this season. Celtic will be crowned champions this evening. We shall see how the Rangers players deal with this. The fans have come out in numbers, as you would expect, but remember they are 6 points behind with 6 points to play for. 7 goals worse off with 2 games to play, meaning they'll need to win their last 2 tonight and at Hearts on Saturday, and hope Celtic lose their matches at Kilmarnock tomorrow and at home to St Mirren, whilst also overturning that goal difference. They've also scored 8 fewer. About as long odds as you can get now against a Dundee side looking to maintain their hopes of qualifying for Europe. They too, though, are drinking in the last chance saloon with regards to that. If they don't win this one, St Mirren will be confirmed as finishing 5th and that final European spot. Dundee will kick off here at Ibrox, shooting left to right as we watch from the main stand towards the Copeland Road end in their change colours, the white jerseys, navy blue shorts, white socks. Rangers in their blue shirts, white shorts, black socks with the red tops, and they will go right to left towards Broomloan Road, and it's out of play on this near side for a Dundee throw-in, which will be left by Jordan McGee and will be taken by Ryan Astley, the Welshman, coming up to about level with the edge of the D of the Rangers box on this main stand side. So an early chance to load the box here for the D. Astley's decided against the long throw, and he's played it short there to Tiffany, gets it back, and then it's slipped back towards the right of the penalty area for Tiffany. Can't get onto it, breaks to McCowan, he can't find a teammate, and it's launched clear by Rangers up towards McCausland, left of the centre circle, gets it back to Diamande, who whips it forward right-footed. It's a skiddy surface, it's been raining pretty much all day in Glasgow as Dessers picks up, crosses in, and it's flicked away by Malachi Boateng. Now with Tavernier on the right-hand side. Rangers looking to get into their stride, but it's given away by Tavernier all too cheaply, and it's picked up by Mohamed Sela, who's one of 2 alterations to the Dundee side from the one that started at Tynecastle at the weekend. And it's back there with Ben Davis. Leon King in beside him. It is a patched-up Rangers side this evening. King making his first start of the campaign. It's pretty remarkable when you consider he was playing Champions League group matches last term, so he'll be keen to impress Philippe Clement, given he hasn't had the opportunity really to do that since the Belgian took over, as Astley goes long with a clearance up towards Bakayoko. Butland comes to the left-hand side of his box and heads out for a Dundee throw-in, similar area to where they had one just a moment ago, about level with the Rangers 18-yard line, albeit it's been taken a good few yards further back than that. Couple of minutes in, no goals yet, both teams feeling their way into this, and that's a poor one there. Lyle Cameron trying to work it back out to McGee, but it's miscommunication that goes out for a throw into Rangers on this near side. The Dundee dream, Rory, is still alive just about. It's hanging by a thread, and they need to win this one to maintain hopes of a first European qualification for over 20 years.
Yeah, it's a big ask, of course it is, coming to Ibrox to try and stay in the race for Europe. But you know, they've started positively, and they've got players on the pitch that can score goals, and that's always important. They just need to make sure they're solid at the back, because as much as they've had a great season, they have been prone to the odd capitulation at times and heavy defeats, so Tony Dockett will be hoping to hang in there.
It's McCausland in the central area, midway inside the Dundee half, chinking up towards the edge of the box, has a go, which is blocked by Portales. Rolled back by Cantwell to Raskin, right-hand side, out to Tavernier, infield to Cantwell, and then Raskin again. Rare start for him too, and he's found Yilmaz on the turn, and the shot saved there well in the end by McCracken's a really good hit by Ridvan Yilmaz. We've seen him come up with that a couple of times this season. Found himself in the left central area, 25 yards from goal, rifled towards McCracken's goal frame, and the keeper was equal to it.
Oh, he sent Cameron for the proverbial hot dog in the stand there with that little change of direction, and the strike wasn't bad either, and a decent save.
Aye, the modern day inverted fullback, wasn't it? And then he dropped his shoulder. Cameron thinks he's going to take a touch, tries to read it, he's left for dead, and it's a good strike as well. It was moving, McCracken had to deal with it.
I believe John McCracken had a difficult afternoon at Tynecastle on Saturday, so he will feel a little bit better about himself after that save from Yilmaz. He was trying to add to the 2 goals he scored this season. It's picked up here just at the edge of the Rangers box by Ben Davies, who finds the aforementioned Turk. His last start was in a friendly against Hungary, and he was injured, came off just before the half hour in that one, so a couple of sub appearances recently. He's back in from the start. He's found Silva, lovely give and go, back to Yilmaz, across it comes, and Diamonde doesn't catch it well. First time right footed, and it goes harmlessly wide of the right hand post. It's Rangers 0, Dundee 0.
Looked sharp, Yilmaz, didn't he, Billy?
Yeah, it does. But it's one of those where Dundee playing quite narrow, and it was Silla, the midfielder, that's the one that's got to come out to him and eventually face him up. He just pops a 1-2 and he's gone, leaves him for dead, and it's a good pick out to Diamandi, but he just sclaffs the shot. But yeah, you're right, he looks pretty sharp and up for the game.
Haven't won here since 2001. Dundee haven't exactly been prolific in front of goal here when they've visited Ibrox either. Just the 2 goals here since 2003. Bakayoko this season, El Bakhtaoui in 2017. And that's it since the win under Benetti, as Cantwell comes driving down the left-hand side. Cuts in field away from Silla. That's opened up a little bit for Cantwell. Just took a little bit too long before releasing the pass to Diamonde. Picked up by Tiffany, loses out to Tavernier. There's Cantwell, runs into Silla. McCowan's onto it, within the captain's armband this evening. Little flick from Bakayoko, worked back by Cameron towards Bakayoko, but Davies is there to turn it back to his goalkeeper, Jack Butland, who made a couple of really important saves at the time anyway against Celtic at the weekend. We're 5.5 goalless minutes in at Ibrox. The drizzle is teeming down just now. Leaden skies above the floodlights are on. Mid-May, it doesn't feel like it.
They're actually playing a 4-1-4-1, Dundee. I think it's Silla who is the one in front of the back 4, and then you've got McCowan and Boateng further up the pitch, and it's McCowan's ability to go from defending to supporting the striker so quickly, so effective.
Silva with a long ball towards Dessers, comes all the way through to McCracken. I was actually saying, Billy, that the fans have come out in numbers, but there are noticeable gaps in the stadium. You can understand that given what happened on Saturday and given the position they now find themselves in.
From where they were, yeah, disappointment. But I said to Kenny, it's going to be a healthy crowd, it is. And you talked about the leaden skies and the rain coming down, that leads to a slick surface, so we're getting plenty of passing football out there, Liam.
Keep you up to date with what's going on in the 2 playoff matches taking place this evening. Firhill and the Rock. And underway at Dumbarton, 0-0 in the early stages against Spartans. And the Premiership semi-final first leg, Partick Thistle Wraith Rovers, as Rangers come forward in the shot from just outside the D, and Diamonde takes a deflection and goes behind for a corner, just whipped past that left-hand post, and it remains goalless at Ibrox.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of space on the edge of Dundee's box. That's a couple of shots now they've had, similar to the ones Rangers were giving up against Celtic at the weekend. Same type of area from the one Matt O'Reilly scored. Diamandi can't find the net there.
Yilmaz will take out swinging corner with the left foot, main stand side, as Rangers attack the goal to our left. Bent in towards the back post area where it's flicked away, but the flag's gone up. The referee blows the whistle. I think it's gone behind the line there as the corner was whipped towards the penalty area, so Dundee will have a goal kick, and it will stay at nothing each in these early stages. Just a note on that Thistle Wraith Rovers game, it's live on the BBC Scotland TV channel tonight, the second leg on Friday, so Thistle looking to take advantage of home advantage in the first leg this evening and take a lead to Kirkcaldy. here in the Premiership, the solitary Premiership game this evening. It's a Jordan McGee header from a long McCracken ball. Bakayoko chases, played back to Butland, who then panics, and it kind of ricocheted between his feet there. Got it back from Davis, and it could quite easily have crept over the line there, right at his near post, and he's actually relieved that it's gone behind for the corner.
He should be dealing better with it, but it's absolutely fizzed back to him from Ben Davis, and we've seen against Hibs when he dwelt on it, he's not that comfortable in possession and taking it that close to his goal. Remember the one that hit the post against Hibs when he was dwelling on it? It's the same sort of thing, gets away with it again.
A back pass between the sticks as well.
Oh,
you should always have it outside the post if you can.
Agreed.
Owen Dodgson will take the corner. In swinger coming up for Dundee. In fact, he's played it low to the angle of the box for Cameron. Back it comes into the area, and there's a little bit of pinball which eventually comes off a Rangers head last, and Dundee have another corner. Tony Docherty down below us with his arms behind his back. The Rangers manager's just making his way to the edge of the technical area as well. A troubling spell for Philippe Clement. They did have those 3 wins, which included the semi-final that took them into the Scottish Cup showpiece against Celtic a week on Saturday. And amongst all that, as Dodgson gets a second chance, this time it looks like it's coming into the box. Really deep delivery by Dodgson. It's headed back towards goal and then dug out on the 6-yard line by Nicholas Raskin. And it breaks back the way, and it's a ball which is pumped up and under there, up towards the left-hand side of the Rangers box before it's headed away. It's Boateng's ball. And Rangers pick up the scraps with McCausland wide on the right into the midfield. He gives it straight though to McCowan, and now Cameron back to Boateng. He in turn goes back to his goalkeeper. What do you make of the Dundee setup, Rory? It looks like a decent balance.
Yeah, it does. It does now. Boateng was pushing further up to start with, but I think they've recognised those spaces just in front of the back four, and I think they've reverted back to the 2 in front of the defence, which should potentially help Dundee.
Here come Rangers. Fabio Silva, central area, driving forward midway inside the Dundee half. Slips it low to his right for Diamonde. Out to the overlapping Tavernier. Little dummy from Silva. Didn't quite make it to McCausland though. And Portales comes away with it for Dundee. 180-degree turn before slipping it to Tiffany. Infield to McCowan, and then back out to that left-hand side for Dodgson. Rolls it forward, left of the circle for Tiffany. Now with Boateng. Little short ball to the right for Astley. And short to Boateng into Astley. They look really comfortable in possession, Dundee. It's been a fine season for them, top 6 of course, but they haven't been in a great run. They've lost their last 3 since that draw with Rangers at Dens last month. It's their longest losing run of the season, which again underlines how good a job they've done, having come straight back up from the Championship a year ago. And they haven't won a game all told in their last 6 since they beat St Johnstone in Perth. 11 in, 0-0 here. And it's McCowan getting it from Dodgson with the throw in on the far side. Then forward Silla, loses out McCausland. Dodgson with the challenge, breaks to Silla. He's facing his own goal, rolls it back into his own half. Portales goes long, drops over the head of King, and Davis will let it come back through to his goalkeeper. It's Rangers 0, Dundee 0, 11.5 in at Ibrox.
They don't look particularly comfortable, Rangers, when they're put under pressure from set pieces, and I don't know if Tony Docherty's looked at it and thought playing short from either throw-ins or corners might help them, but...
It's a low ball for Dessers, who goes down. There was clearly a hand in the back there, and Dessers is making that point to referee Matt McDermott. Long ball came through to him. I'm not sure he was getting onto it anyway. It did look as though there was a Dundee defender with at least one hand on his back. It's game on though.
Exactly what I was going to say, Liam. It's not getting there, but anyway.
Bakayoko, was he offside? He's on the ball, right angle of the box. The flag does eventually go up when it becomes apparent the attack has come to its natural conclusion. It will be a free kick to Rangers.
Great ball in from Tavernier though, but I think it's beyond him, and then with the skid on the pitch as well, if he lets it bounce, the chance is gone. But definitely was a little shove, wasn't there?
Dessers has come up on the big screen. You could quite clearly see him mouth, 2 hands on the back, pushed, but I don't think it's a penalty, Liam.
Well, Kerridine Itzan's our pitchside reporter. He's got the benefit of replays. Kerridine?
Yeah, Astley did have a couple of hands on Dessers, but there wasn't a great deal of force, and they haven't really made too much of it. Probably the right call.
0-0 then, here in the Premiership. Penultimate game of the season for these two. Final home match for Rangers as Yilmaz reverses it to Cantwell in the Dundee half, striding forward. A couple of players challenging. Silla's one of them. Good slide challenge by Mohamed Silla. And Portales rolls it back to his keeper and gets rid of it just before Diamonde can make the block. And it's up towards halfway. Yilmaz can't really control. It's on at the feet of Lyle Cameron, who's had a wonderful season, in the embodiment of the energy and effervescence of this Dundee team at times. As Tiffany drives forward, the ref's going to bring it back for a foul on Boateng just before that, just inside the Rangers half.
And he's quite right to do so, Liam. That was a good bit of play from Dundee, intricate passing. You've mentioned a couple of times how comfortable they look, not only when they've got plenty of time, but popping wee triangles as well. Referee there, Matthew McDermott, absolutely right to bring it back for the foul.
Yeah, without a win in 6, but just one win in 7 away matches. 2 wins in their last 11. It's not red hot form for Dundee, but
going to go through periods like that when
of course,
you're, a club like Dundee in the Premier League, but they've been more consistent than most other teams in and around them. That's why they are top 6.
Best season since Paul Hartley was a manager, and came so close to taking them into the top 6. Actually had more points. This shows you how high the bar was for getting into the top 6 points wise back in those days. Don't think it takes as many points just now to get into the top 6.
Yeah, we missed out right on the cusp. Yeah. Hamilton Accies away. I think we get beat 1-0 or drew 1 each, and it wasn't quite enough.
Long free kick for Dundee's flicked behind for a corner here, and Owen Dodgson out to take. And this is an opportunity for Dundee again, Dodgy, to load the box, and they've had plenty of chances to do that.
The last one when they put it deep and it was knocked back across, nobody gambling, but it come off of King there for this corner after the long ball. Out-swinging corner from Dodgson, and it's headed away by King, really importantly, at the right angle of his 6-yard box. It was a good fizzed corner kick delivery, that, from Dodgson. The settle for a throw-in over on the far side in front of the Sandy Jardine Govan stand, running at the midway point of the Rangers half, perhaps a few yards further back than that. It's pulled by Dodgson in field to McCowan. And McCowan on to it on the far side, good footwork from him. Ball down the line, cut out by Tavernier, who launches it forward. Desser's trying to get it under control. He's on his own at the moment. Silva arriving in support. He's found him now. Good footwork. Silva frees himself in the box and shoots off the bar. Really good play there by Fabio Silva. He got himself into a terrific position. Ran to try and make some space to help Dessers out. And it's just clipped the top of the bar from Silva. 16 and almost. Rangers 0, Dundee 0.
Yeah, Tony Dockett, he's saying, why did the flag not go up? I thought Dessers was offside as well. I was surprised to see once the play came to an end that his flag didn't go up, because I thought he went a couple of yards too early. I was the same, Rory. He was caught behind play. He was about 10 yards, so he couldn't make the decision. Anyway, when Silva gets here, he bundles through 2 Dundee defenders. I think Tony Dockett is a bit angry about that as well. Bit of both scenarios, and then when he's at the angle, it's not a bad effort, because it is a hard angle. He gets plenty of power, and it thumps off the top of the crossbar. Silva.
Ben Davies, long ball, looking for McCausland. Was he in an offside position? Doesn't matter, it's been headed away. And out for a throw into Rangers on this near side, level with the Dundee penalty spot. Yilmaz takes it short to Dessers, back to Yilmaz. Under pressure from Cameron, he goes back to Davies, who finds King in the centre circle. Side football forward, looking for McCausland, probably asking too much of the Northern Irishman, though the ball's held up a little bit over there. But Dodgson does chaperone it behind for the goal kick. Almost 17 minutes in. The sun's not meant to set till about 9:20 in the evening just now, but you wouldn't know it. It's
what sun?
It's like darkness here. It's the middle of the night.
Great conditions for players, though, as I said.
Yeah,
they can't beat it. There's no wind, slick surface, get the ball down, go and play. And both teams have shown that so far in the game.
No goals as yet here. No goals at the Rock between Dumbarton and the Spartans as Dundee come forward. It's up towards Boateng in the rather Bakayoko at the edge of the box from the long ball forward by Boateng, and it's picked up by Jack Butland, who plays it short to Yilmaz on the near side, and he finds Raskin. A few of these Rangers players starting games for the first time in a while as Cantwell's brought to the ground by Silla, and that's going to be a free kick to Rangers. Silla with his arms outstretched and the look of innocence on his face as he appeals to the referee. The decision's been made, though, And on 18 minutes, it's Rangers 0, Dundee 0. So goalless in that League One playoff final between Dumbarton and the Spartans, and 0-0 Partick Thistle Raith Rovers, the opening few minutes of that one, as I said, live on the BBC Scotland TV channel. How to play for a throw-in on this near side.
Silva and Cantwell, I'll tell you in a minute. They both go for the ball. They both were trying to get the game going and keep the tempo up. They both chucked the ball away at the same time. The momentum was lost. Nothing that happens here tonight will surpass the Hibernian clearance.
Brilliant.
Here, was it 3 of them it eventually hit? It's incredible.
The chances of that happening as well were so slight.
Astonishing.
I did laugh.
Kind of sums up Hibs' season.
Yeah, well,
in many ways.
Skittles it was, wasn't it?
Right, there's been a goal at the Rock. Let's find out who for. Brian McLaughlin.
It's Dumbarton 1, Spartans 0 coming after just 20 minutes. It was a long ball by Gallagher Lennon, the son of Neil Lennon, and it seemed to catch out Blair Carswell, and the Spartans goal, and he could only parry the ball out into the path of number 14, Tony Wallace, who hammered the ball home. Dumbarton 1, Spartans 0.
First blood Dumbarton. Here come Rangers. Fabio Silva's ball in, headed behind for another Rangers corner. But in the 20th minute, as they try and make the breakthrough in the rain in Glasgow. And Dundee looking to just try and keep Rangers at arm's length. McCracken's had one save to make, really, in the game so far. And they've got a corner here, which will be taken by Yilmaz on this near side. The Rangers left, out-swinging delivery from Yilmaz into the 6-yard area. Davis tries to get onto it, Dundee clear it. Now Luke McCowan's on his bike on the counter. Slips it with the outside of the boot to Boateng on the left-hand side. Cantwell comes to meet him. Does have an overlap. Cameron is given it though in a central area. It's out to Dodson on the far side touchline. Then back to McCowan via Cameron, but he's off target with the pass. Frustration with the Dundee manager. He slaps his hands down there as Dundee give the ball away so cheaply. So it's Tony Wallace's 16th goal of the season that has Dumbarton ahead in that League One playoff final first leg. The second leg to come at the weekend. And plenty drama in the playoffs so far, plenty more to come. It's absolutely teeming it down here now.
As Dessers was moaning at the referee because Portales is right behind. I mean, just get on with the game. Portales is trying to win the ball. He's followed him in. He's nipping at his heels, but it's football. You get on with it.
You know what? I was just looking at it as well, and I'm thinking he has taken 5 touches when he needs to take 2-3 max. It's what he does in the box sometimes. I know he's an easy target, but just hold it, move it, play it. But because he took 5, Portales nipped at him, and then he wasn't happy with him. What are you expecting?
Well, as someone was saying to me before the match, if James Tavernier wasn't on penalties, chances are it would be Dessers. And if he was on penalties, he'd have over 30 goals this season. And he'd still be getting stick. As Cantwell loses out to Silla in the midfield, the ref didn't like the challenge. The second time Silla has ended up having a go at the referee. He obviously feels he got enough of the ball for that to be in the legal bracket, but the referee disagrees. Rangers will have a free kick right of the centre circle. It's nothing each.
Look, Liam, it probably is a free kick. I mean, it's a carbon copy of the one that happened not so long ago. Cantwell's taking the ball into feet. He's trying to protect it, and Silla thinks he can nip in and win it. Doesn't manage to do it, but Cantwell, he doesn't need to go down like he goes down every time and roll around. You know, he's straight back up as soon as the foul's given and get on with it.
I tell you, Tony Dockett's not happy with Alec Ray. He's out at him, and then he goes to Clement, Tony Dockett, and he's saying to him, look, it's a number 2, and Clement turns around and tells Alec Ray to be quiet.
That's going to be knocked out of play by Ashley for a Rangers throw in about level with the Dundee 6-yard line on this near side. Diamande's over it at the moment. He's leaving it for Yilmaz. He tries to play it quickly to him. Cameron with the challenge. Diamande emerges with it and then smashed out of play for another throw by Silla. Yilmaz takes quickly to Cantwell, rolls it infield there. Raskin, the Belgian, back to Yilmaz on the turn as he kept it in. No, he hasn't. Says the assistant on this near side, Dan McFarlane, and that will be a throw into Rangers. Sorry, to Dundee on this near side. He's unlucky, Yilmaz. He just turned away.
Yeah, he was
looking to try and get some space, and the guys are right. He started the game in a really lively fashion. And they'll be hoping to keep him fit next season, because it looked as though he was going to be heading out Probably back to his homeland. That was certainly the strong reports linking him with a move away from Rangers in the last couple of transfer windows. Dundee trying to settle the ball down on the far side. Dodson plays it off Portales, just to work hard to get it up the line. He goes down, but it's out for a Rangers throw-in over on the far side. Just about make out the ball over there through the rain. It's bowled back the way to Leon King. Now with Cantwell. King's had to be patient. He's another one who looked like he might be heading out on loan at least. Starting tonight with no Goldson, no Balogun, no Suter.
I think he would have, Liam, if they never had so many injury problems, especially at centre-half.
Seen him come on a couple of times this season as a sub, but he's mainly been going into that central midfield position when he has. As Tavernier picks up and turns it out to McCausland, he can't control. Tavernier trying to get it back though, and he's successfully done that. It's back with Ben Davis.
It'd be interesting as well to see what kind of level he would go out at and play. It's quite difficult with young players at times. You know, he's played in some high-profile games, but probably hasn't played enough. So if he does end up going out on loan at some point, it'd be interesting to see just how high a level he does go out and play.
Cantwell back to King. Yeah, it was a steep old learning curve, wasn't it, playing Champions League group matches last season, and we all know how difficult a campaign that was for Rangers here.
He needs experience, that's for sure.
Tavernier winning it back in the midfield. Now it's with Cantwell, who goes down, he's on the deck again, but it's Tavernier who shoots.
Get up.
It's a low effort, which is a comfortable take from McCracken. You can hear the guys frustrated, I think, with Todd Cantwell, though the Rangers supporters, I think, more frustrated that they didn't get the free kick there. Tavernier, I mean, I described it as a shot, but it was more like a pass towards goal. It was a comfortable take for McCracken. Played almost 25. Rangers 0, Dundee 0.
So back in the day, Liam, I made the bench, right, and Silva's just gone by his man.
We'll get to that. Yeah, here comes Fabio Silva. He's away from McGee's into the penalty area, slips it across. A poor ball though, and it's an easy clearance for Portales. Got himself into a really good position. Looked like he'd done the hard bit in behind Jordan McGee. Two waiting in the middle, and he could find neither.
Cantwell was one of them, funnily enough, when there's a chance after being down.
Yeah, I mean, that's 3 in a row now. It's a bit embarrassing, I think, himself. Silva's guilty of it as well, and then he's lunging into a challenge which, you know, one he would go down under. It's a little bit silly.
And Cameron to Boateng, now out to the right-hand side for Bakayoko's the right angle of the Rangers box. Bakayoko, I'm not sure exactly what that was. Was it a cross or a shot? Not sure. Either way, it's gone high over the crossbar. And on 26 minutes, it's Rangers 0, Dundee 0. And as this scoreline stands right now, Celtic will be champions tonight. Long way to go, though.
Many moons ago I made the bench here, and it was a Champions League against Manchester United, and Nani went down under a similar tackle. Physio went to go on. Alex Ferguson straight out his dugout, don't you dare go on that pitch, screaming at Nani to get back up and get on with it. So he'd be tearing his hair out watching Todd Cantwell tonight.
Remember those Champions League battles? And Rangers got the draw, didn't they, at Old Trafford in that one? It was a Rooney penalty, wasn't it, that decided things here?
Yes, it was. Yeah. It was Naismith kicked one of the De Silva brothers in the face, I think.
That's right. And Walter Smith against Alec Ferguson was quite the battle. Ben Davis goes back to his goalkeeper. The current Rangers side being held 0-0 by Dundee here, as it was at Dens. It's a long ball forward down that right-hand side for Rangers. It's mopped up by Portales though, up the line for Dodson. He goes back to his keeper McCracken. Another goal at the Rock, Brian McLaughlin.
It's a second goal for Dumbarton. It's Finlay Gray who's on target, but the goal was made by the former Aberdeen youngster Michael Ruth. Terrific work down the left-hand side. His cross into the box, met by Finlay Gray. Just 6 yards out, gave Blair Carswell no chance. Dumbarton 2, Spartans 0.
Oh, Dumbarton in a wonderful position. Now after that, they have had really consistent periods this season. They'll feel that they should be going up as Tavernier collects and shifts it out to this left-hand side for Yilmaz. Back to Raskin. Skipping infield. He's now in a central position just to the left of the centre circle under pressure from Tiffany. He goes back to King. And now Davis. Low ball out to Silva on this near side. Little reverse, almost found Yilmaz. Cut out well by Lyle Cameron. Cameron onto it, digs the ball out, headed back into the Dundee half by Davis. Bakayoko gets onto it, but he's offside. That'll be a free kick to Rangers. And it's 0-0. Still goalless in the game across the city from here. Partick Thistle, Wraith Rovers in the first leg of that Premiership playoff semi-final. As we were just hearing from Brian, Dumbarton into a 2-0 lead against the Spartans.
Dundee pretty comfortable here, Billy. How long do you think before the natives get restless after the weekend?
Here's Cantwell in the box. Dessers lays it back towards Cantwell, just in behind him though. Puts the momentum away, then he goes down, and now he does get the free kick. Right in front of the referee. And Portale is arguing, and it's a Rangers free kick, and it is probably around about 24 yards from goal, and an opportunity here, Billy Dodds, potentially for James Tavernier.
Yeah, it was clumsy from Portales, and you know Cantwell's spoken about him. Once he feels a nudge, he goes down, gets a free kick, what, 25 yards out, something like that, central area. Rory's asked the question. I think they'll let them know about it at half-time if it's 0-0. I think it's getting to that stage, but there's been some nice football. I think Rangers' best way forward is asking that narrow midfield and forward line of Dundee to have to get out in the wide areas, and if they do it quickly it's hard for them. Dundee, if they pop it quickly, they'll get extra bodies in the middle of the park, haven't they?
And this is an opportunity for James Tavernier approaching the half hour here at Ibrox. Yilmaz is there too. 4-man Dundee wall. There are a couple to the right of it. To the left of the wall as the Dundee players stand. To the right as we watch, and as James Tavernier and Ridvan Yilmaz watch. John McCracken trying to organise everything that's going on in front of him. But this is a chance, and how often have we seen James Tavernier dispatch this exact kind of opportunity? It is Tavernier, and it's about a foot over the bar, and it stays Rangers 0, Dundee 0.
Yeah, he would normally reverse it back across the goalkeeper. I think he tries to catch John McCracken out by going his far side, and it doesn't quite connect with it. Goes over the bar.
Third of the way through the match. Billy, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think Rangers have got to find more tempo from somewhere. They've tried to get it down at times, but not enough. Sometimes you see Dessers delaying on it, Cantwell taking extra touches. Just got to make sure they do the right things. I think if they can get their full-backs on it, it's going to ask Dundee a question. But then Dundee, I said, if they get the ball, they can pop it on this slick surface. They're capable of creating, especially from a central area.
It's just a couple of times Rangers have failed to score here this season. Against Benfica, Europa League, last 16 second leg, and against Celtic right at the start of the campaign. Dundee have a free kick in the Rangers half, right to the centre circle. Lyle Cameron with it, right-footed high ball into the left-hand side of the box, where it's headed away by King. Not great conditions if you're a defender, much better if you're an attacker. And Ross McCausland very much one of those. Driving forward down the right, he couldn't quite though work it into the path of a teammate, and he was trying his best to do that with Todd Cantwell ahead of him. And it's blocked, and Dundee get it away. But here come Rangers again, this time on the left with Yilmaz. His pass goes astray, straight to McGee. And he rolls it back the way to McCracken. Here is McCowan with the captain's armband. He's given it away straight to McCausland's. A horrendous mistake, and McCausland's effort is tipped away there by McCracken. It's brilliant goalkeeping. He's got to score, but Luke McCowan is breathing an almighty sigh of relief. It stays goalless here, but only just.
Yeah, he has got to score. He does really well to skip away from the defender, and then he's just got to keep his head, keep his composure, pick a corner, side foot it into the corner. You know, your team's 1-0 up. Luke McCowan, very unlike Luke McCowan, a little bit too casual. There's a time and a place, but it should be 1-0.
McCausland should have taken our touch, because Portales has done it. He's out it. He should just have another maybe yard, go out his feet more, but he tried to dig it out, and that enabled him to make the save.
Yilmaz with the corner, it comes towards the penalty spot. Dessers is claiming his jersey was being pulled there as He struggled to get onto it, and Dundee head clear, and now it's McCowan slipping it forward. That's better from him. He almost got Tiffany away. Really important slide block there by Diamonde. But here come Dundee again at the edge of the penalty area. It's a shot right down the throat of Jack Butland by Tiffany, and it stays on 33. Rangers 0, Dundee 0.
Yeah, they're dangerous on the break, Dundee, they really are. Millie's made the point a couple of times. Most of their bodies are in the middle of the pitch, but they can shift the ball when they have to. Dessers is looking for another penalty back up the other end at one point, which was never a penalty.
And again, Mohamed Silla is furious. 3 times in this first half, and he's finger pointing at Fabio Silva in the face of the Rangers number 7. Clearly not happy with the antics of the Rangers player, and the Rangers fans are having a go at Silla for the reaction from him in the wake of the challenge he made, which the ref deemed free kick worthy for Rangers. Level with the edge of the centre circle on this near side. But he's certainly been heavily involved in the last 10 minutes or so, has Silla. And it's a free kick to Rangers, which Cantwell's going to take, and he'll roll it back with the left foot into his own half for Davis. 11 minutes from half-time, at least from the end of the 45. No goals. Rangers have had the lion's share of possession and chances. Dundee have at times, though, looked threatening on the counter, and a few corners themselves. And we saw Jack Butland tested there for the first time by a Dundee player, really, when Tiffany let fly from distance. And it is 0-0. Tavernier with the throw bowls it back to King. Here is Cantwell over on the far side. Didn't get a single second of action against Celtic at the weekend. Back with Davis and out to Leon King. Goes across the halfway line. Movement ahead of him. Silva helps it into the path there at Tavernier. Tried to work it back to Silva, but it's cleared by Silla. And on to it on this near side is Bakayoko. Under pressure from Raskin, and the Rangers players and fans claim that gone out of play. Dundee play on, and it's McCowan to Tiffany, left-hand side of the box. His shot's blocked. It's a second chance. Blocked again on the 6-yard line, and Diamonde slips it away. 2 bites of that did Tiffany have. He couldn't take it, and now it's Rangers on the counter. Down the right-hand side goes Dessers. 2 in the middle. Dessers fires it across, and a really good block there by Jordan McGee. Coming in from right back. There's a lovely touch by Lyle Cameron to take it away from Yilmaz. And down the right he goes, going from one end to the other all of a sudden. Has to roll it back to McGee, to Cameron. Little side foot ball infield to McCowan. Back out wide right for McGee. Low ball, touched by McCowan. Bakayoko shoots, and Butland saves, makes it to his right and puts it behind for the corner. Really good play by Dundee, and Tony Docherty applauding it as well. And another example of the threats that the D pose demonstrated there, and Butland at full stretch puts it behind for the corner.
Just a bit open, Rory.
Game of basketball, but my goodness, 2 good teams.
The chance is incredible. Davis heading the second one from Tiffany off the line, and then McGee blocking because Silva's going to tap it in, and then Dundee go up, and they produce a brilliant save from Butland.
In comes the corner, which Bakayoko heads well wide from Dodson. So 0-0 here. Dumbarton leading the Spartans by 2-0 in that League One playoff, and I believe the deadlock has been broken at Firhill in the match between Partick Thistle and Wraith Rovers.
It certainly has, Liam. It's an open game at Ibrox, it's an open game at Firhill too, but Wraith Rovers have broken the deadlock. Captain Scott Brown with once again a fantastic finish. We all remember that thunderbolt he scored against Dundee United. He slams the ball down into the ground and it well beats David Mitchell. Thistle have had their opportunities. Brian Graham, of course, it'll be a shock to no one, has had a few chances, but it is Wraith Rovers who have had that 10-day break with the advantage after about 22 minutes at Firhill. Partick Thistle 0, Wraith Rovers 1.
Thanks, Amy. Amy Canavan keeping across things at Firhill. So Wraith Rovers draw the first blood there, and Scott Brown, just his 2nd goal of the season. Well, the other one was, at the time, worth so much that could be even more priceless come the shake-up in Kirkcaldy on Friday. Here come Dundee down the left with Owen Dodgson taking on McCausland. Gets the ball in, chance! Goal Dundee! Goal Dundee! it's scored by Jordan McGee. Down into the ground, and it ends up in the top right corner of the net. They have been knocking on the door here at Ibrox in the last few minutes, and Dundee celebrate. And it may be that the Celtic fans are celebrating as well. Is tonight the night for them? Rangers, the players, the fans don't know where to look right now, and it's Rangers 0, Dundee 1.
Liam, I have to say, on the balance of play in the last 10 minutes, not only has it been coming, I think that is a deserved lead for Dundee. They've defended so well and put out all the Rangers fires at one end, and they've looked so potent and dangerous at the other end, and he's popped up with some big goals, Jordan McGee. It's a lovely ball across the box, a little bit of a wait to see if it was going in the net, but it did, and I think that's a deserved lead for Dundee.
You know, it's everything we spoke about in terms of how they worked it. They found their extra players from this right hand side, popped into I think it was Tiffany. They were all getting used. McCowan as well, out to Dodson, he swings in the cross. McGee's got to watch it all the way, and he makes sure he gets the contact by bundling it into the ground, and Butland can do nothing at his near post because it bounces high into the net. It was a well worked goal.
Dundee in front, and as it stands, and it was the same scenario at 0-0, Celtic will be champions tonight. Dundee haven't won here since 2001, but Jordan McGee has them believing that long 23-year wait, almost exactly 23 years, is going to come to an end, and that hardy bunch of D fans over on the far side absolutely loving that.
Yeah, there'll be the sweat on the eyebrows of a few St Mirren fans as well, I'd imagine, Liam, with Dundee taking the lead.
Yes, indeed. Although St Mirren can do it under their own steam tomorrow when they host Hearts. Here come Dundee again. Dodson again! It's another one! It's 2-0! Dundee got 2 up. Portales has smashed it home into the right corner. The boos from the home fans. The Dundee supporters are in dreamland up the other end. And Antonio Portales doubles the Dundee lead in quick fire time. And Celtic are heading for the crown tonight. It's Rangers 0, Dundee 2, 5 minutes from half-time. Sensational!
Wow, what a finish that is from the big centre-back, by the way. Really nice. It looks like it might be the outside of the foot. If you can hear me over the boos, it goes in the bottom corner. And once again, excuse me, I think it was Owen Dodson on the left-hand side. Billy's mentioned it, wide areas, overloading. They get it out there, they play it across. Wonderful finish. Rangers rocked.
Yeah, they certainly are, and I'll tell you what, we talked about temperament, mentality at the start of this programme. They're going to have to show it now, that's for sure, but you can't take it away from Dundee the way they worked it. It's a passing, it's out to Dodson, it's a lovely cross, but he just kind of turns his body, Portales, and flicks it with the outside his right boot, right into, well, across Butland into the far corner, and it's brilliant from Dundee. Somehow Rangers have to find a way to get back in this game.
Dundee had scored 2 goals in 21 years here at Ibrox. They've just scored 2 at Ibrox in 2 minutes. An incredible story, and what's been a fairy tale return to dining at the top table for Dundee. Here come Rangers. Diamonde, Silva, left-hand side of the box, shoots wide of the left-hand post. Tony Docherty furious. His team just gone 2-0 up here in Glasgow against Rangers, but he is furious down there with how easily that opportunity came to Fabio Silva.
I think he knows how important the next 4 minutes are. You want to get in without Rangers scoring, and Silva should have took that on his right. It came to him, and he should have opened up his right foot with the instep and tried to find the far corner. You know, he's a right-footed player playing on the left. He chooses to take it on the left, and he misses by a good 2 metres.
Portales' only other Dundee goal came against Celtic a couple of weekends back. 2-1 defeat. That one could mean so much to the dark blue half of the city of Discovery. Here goes Dodson down the left-hand side, fouled by Cantwell. Dundee free kick. More applause from the Dundee manager. And what an impression he's made this season. Stepping out of the shadows of Derek McInnes. And is he about to make history tonight?
He's found that system, as I said to Kenny pre-match, that Ross County found to cause Rangers problems. Who picks up the 2 just off the big striker? You talk, Rory, about Bakayoko holding it up. He's done it really well in this game and brought him into play, and then Rangers have a problem. but Rangers have not done where their strengths are. At the start they did, first 5 minutes, get out to Yilmaz, and suddenly Dundee had a problem. That's all stopped now, and it's Dundee, it's winning the tactical battle.
Free kick Dundee, looking for an incredible third goal here on the far side touchline. Left footed, Dodson, in it comes, it bounces in the box and it just goes wide of the left hand post. Rangers are all over the shop here. They look hungover, punch drunk.
Yeah, I mean, we called it earlier in the game, anything goes into Rangers' box, they're at 6s and 7s, and it's continued to be the case. I'll be honest, looking out there, I think there's a few that they just don't want to be out there right now.
Yilmaz to Silva, back to Yilmaz down the left-hand side, at the left angle of the Dundee box. They need the next goal, Rangers. Yilmaz with the cross, cut out by the sliding Lyle Cameron. Now Dundee, a few times this season, they've let 2-goal leads slip. So Tony Docherty will be determined that they can get to half-time, regroup, come out in the second half and bed themselves into that as well. Yilmaz will take the corner. About to tick into the final minute of the opening 45. Yilmaz with it, left-footed, outswinger, deep again, headed clear, bouncing ball, Tavernier looking for Cantwell. McCowan almost got onto it. It's now with Davis at the edge of the box, back to Diomande. Onto the right foot, he shoots all pretty desperate, but it's deflected into the path of Dessers. Looking for Silva, and a wonderful piece of defending by Astley. It's brilliant from him. If it was McGee, I think he maybe made the final block. Outstanding from Dundee, and in particular from Jordan McGee, who's having a fantastic game.
It was, Liam, and I'll tell you why. I'm sure Silva gets the touch on the ball first, so he could easily have given away a penalty. He gets the touch to try and knock it out again. McGee still gets a full boot on it. What a clearance. 2 minutes being added as it stands. Here come Rangers. McCausland down the right of the Dundee box, scores! Slips it underneath McCracken. Well, he didn't even look favourite to get onto it, but Ross McCausland pulls one back. For Rangers, it's his third of the season, just as the stoppage time board goes up. Frustration for Tony Docherty. And exactly what Rangers needed before the interval, you suspect. It's Rangers 1, Dundee 2.
Yeah, Tony Docherty's out now telling his team to get some air in their lungs, but I did say that those 4 minutes between the second goal going in for Dundee and half-time were massive. They've conceded, so it's going to take a lot of mental strength now to come out in the second half and try and perform the way they did and the way they have in the first. They've been in this position at Tynecastle as well going into the second half, although they're checking for offside, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Carradine's got a replay of it. Sometimes these things can be over and done with pretty quickly, but at other times not so. Carradine.
Yeah, they were looking at, I think, the possibility of maybe Dessers being offside in the build-up. I'm not sure it could be McCausland, who was over on the far side. I think it's going to be given.
Yeah, it's given. Goal given. So, there you go. So the goal stands. And Rangers back in it. And that's such a savage blow for Dundee. They'd done brilliantly to give themselves a 2-goal lead. So close to half-time. But Rangers needed that. You suspect the supporters would... I mean, I still think they're going to boo the team off clearly at the interval. But it would have been howls of derision had they gone up the tunnel 2-0 down.
And it's a different team talk now from Tony Docherty. He can't be too hard on him. He'll be disappointed, but he'll just be saying, look, we've just got to do the same again, but could have been a whole lot different. I think it'll be pretty similar for Philip Clement. You better get your fingers out or we are in trouble here.
Throwing Dundee on this near side. McGee will take level with the edge of the D of the Rangers box. As we tick through the stoppage time, he's found Silla, controls in the knee, down towards the corner flag. Holding off Raskin, and he win a corner. He's managed to dig it out for Bakayoko, actually. And then Cameron out to this right-hand side, kept alive by Tiffany. He's done brilliantly there, Scott Tiffany. And he goes down. He's down at the corner quadrant, struggling to shrug off Silva. Comes off Silla, and behind in the end for a goal kick. We've played the 2 minutes, added time here. And it's played short by Butland to King. Long ball, right-footed, down that far side for McCausland. And he can't control it, and it's out for a throw to Dundee over on that far side. Level the edge of their own penalty area. So the time being added on just now, presumably for the muted celebrations They greeted Ross McCausland's goal and the VAR check after that. And Dundee have a throw in which Dodson takes, and there is the half-time whistle. And there's the reaction from the Rangers supporters. They'd only lost 3 home games in the 3 seasons leading up to this one. Well, as it stands, it's a 4th home defeat of 1 campaign for them. It's been a troubling few days, indeed 6 weeks after the defeat in Dingwall and the draw at Dens. Dundee with a lead here. When you look at the fixture list as they try and put pressure on St Mirren, if they can win this one, they'd go to within 2 points of St Mirren, who play Hearts tomorrow. And then at the weekend, Dundee host Kilmarnock, while Saints go to Celtic Park. So it's not cut and dried yet if Dundee win this game. And you would certainly probably prefer their fixture that they have left and the 2 St Mirren have, as they look to continue their excellent season themselves against Hearts tomorrow. But here, Ibrox absolutely shaken to the core, and it was Jordan McGee with the opening goal, knocking home at the back post before Portales made it 2 goals in a couple of minutes, similar to what Rangers experienced at Celtic Park at the weekend. Then they pull one back, as they did at Celtic Park, through Ross McCausland, who grabbed his 3rd goal of the season. But it's been quite the first half here. Dundee very much in the driving seat, it looked like, as we hurtled towards the interval, looking for a first win here in 23 years. They're going to be made to sweat it out by the looks of things. Half-time, McCausland's goal, giving Rangers an opportunity to build on when we come back out for the second half in 15 minutes. At the break, Rangers 1, Dundee 2.
This is Sports Sound
from BBC Radio Scotland.
This is Sports Sound.
I can't wait for Saturday.
My middle boy being a sub for Edinburgh City for the last 2 matches. My only worry is that if Cove get a free kick and Liam's in the wall, they might need planning permission.
Well, I'm asking you what you think. Do you think he should be sacked?
I think there's a question to be asked, yes.
So you would sack him?
I'm not saying, I said there's a question to be asked.
So who would you have appointed then?
No, I think it's been worse since Neil come in, has it not? No, that's not my job.
Tomo, you've contradicted
all the time.
Like,
when's the last time you spoke with me for a job?
When have,
do you know I've done a good job, no?
What is it, the night Willie if Aberdeen won? Is it a glass of red wine and the Betamax copy of the Cup Winners' Cup final on?
Disappointing that the West Coast media seem to kind of like, you know...
Here we go.
Push the same old tired Scottish managers towards us.
Carol, that's wrong, because that's the East Coast journalist Michael Stewart that was there.
I blame him for everything.
It's a sign for St Mirren. They've done it. This is why you love the game. Nicholson, what a strike off the underside of the bar. Magic, absolutely magic.
Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
Yeah, plenty to look forward to on Sports Sound across the weekend. Also 5 games in the top flight tomorrow night. We have an open all night special for you. The radio programme on air at 6 o'clock. We are live in the television from 7 o'clock. We are live from Ibrox here this evening. My goodness, there is a shock scoreline on the cards. Rangers 1, Dundee 2. Jordan McGee on 38 minutes. Antonio Portales on 40 minutes had Tony Docherty side ahead. You could see him just wanting to get to half-time, but Ross McCausland giving Rangers some hope right on the stroke of the break. So Rangers 1, Dundee 2. I asked the question before kick-off how many players you'd be keeping in this Rangers squad, Billy Dodds. Do you have a different answer? I mean, they've been dreadful.
Yeah, Tom's just adding McCausland to his list. I've seen him.
I've taken off a couple off my list. Down to about 3 now.
They've been dreadful, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Dundee have been excellent.
Yeah, very good.
Real confidence, real organisation, absolute brilliant attitude that they come in here. We're not afraid of Rangers. And listen, they served warning on Rangers a couple of times before the first goal. Tiffany. And then Bakayoko, terrific save by Butland. Goal goes in, and I'm watching Silva very closely tonight. There's not a lot to watch, but I'm watching him anyway. Goal goes in. What does Silva do? He starts gesticulating. puts his hands out in the air as if like, oh my God, we're so rubbish. He's still doing it when the second goal goes in. He's done it 3 or 4 times. It's as if this has nothing to do with me. Feeling sorry for himself. Silva is a brat. Cantwell is a brat. There's too many of that type of player at this club, in this team, and the team is going nowhere. And I think Clement knows. Clement knows. He's wise to this. There's just so many.
Too much talking, not enough action.
So many posers, so many shapers. They're at a massive club, huge responsibility of playing for this club, and they can't handle it.
Yeah, and you picked up, Rory. I mean, you look at Todd Cantwell. It is embarrassing watching that at times, isn't it? Throwing himself to the ground, complaining for everything, then when he doesn't get it, jumping straight to his feet again.
Yeah, I mean, it is the most basic of things as well. You know, naturally players want to protect the ball when they're going towards their own goal. So Cantwell's starting quite high up the pitch. He's dropping it to deeper areas. It's getting played into him. I mean, OK, there's been a couple of fouls, but my goodness, in no way, shape or form is he injured or hurt or anything along those lines. He's just rolling around for the sake of it.
He's dropped into the false positions for me, the cheating positions, the ones that, you know, you probably won't get kicked and it'll be easy, you can just touch it. As soon as he stays high up, they're laying a glove on him.
Yeah. But I mean, you get the free kick, you get on with it. If you don't get the free kick, you get up, you run back and you try and win the ball back. But he's rolled around the pitch. Tom's right about Silva, although I don't like the way he behaves at times on the pitch, but I do have a degree of sympathy for him because he's not a natural left-sided, wide player. All he really is able to do is get the ball and pop it back to his full-back first time, or his centre-back, or his central midfielder. So that is the small degree of sympathy I have with him. But I agree. Me and Tom said it before. I would be surprised. No, I wouldn't be surprised given his history under Clement, but I would be getting Silva off at half-time, no questions asked.
Right, hold fire a minute, because there's been a goal in the playoff match at Firhill. Let's cross to Amy Canavan.
There has been, Kenny. Wraith Rovers have doubled their lead. It's Lewis Vaughan on the end of a ruthless counter-attack for Rovers. Just as you were thinking, Partick Thistle were getting back into the game moments before Kerr McInroy just dragged an agonising shot wide from the edge of the area, but it is deadly from Wraith Rovers on the counter, and it's their homegrown hero Lewis Vaughan just inside the box, absolutely slamming one beyond David Mitchell. It's 2 goals to the good for the Rovers. Partick Thistle 0, Wraith Rovers 2.
Good stuff, thanks to Amy Canavan there. What a start in that 2-legged tie for Ian Murray's side. They have had a terrific season, as have Dundee. And Billy, I just want to focus. You spoke before the game about the tactics you thought Tony Docherty would employ here tonight. Tell us why these tactics against this Rangers team have been so successful.
Because the back line and the midfield are not sure what to do, and it's not their mainstays that are playing either, so they're definitely all over the place. But Rangers could have hurt Dundee in wide areas. You saw that straight away with Yilmaz, maybe Tavernier if he could get forward more, because Dundee have a problem in wide areas because they're playing that narrow. But Dundee have been excellent. We said they could hurt Rangers if they pop their players that are just off the front, and that's exactly what they've done for both goals. They've worked it from right to left, Dodson crosses. The next one was pretty basic. It was like, I think, a pass out the left and then down the line, Dodson cross, goal. They have been excellent. They'll be gutted with the goal. But we touched on the start about mentality. Rangers have got to, I said, win the crowd. I feel like blimmin' Ollie Reid for Gladiators here. That's I mean, but that's what it's. I know. You got to win the crowd right away.
Yes.
And what have they done? Lacklustre. The things that they started off for 5 minutes start going out the window, and then Dundee grabbed the upper hand. But when they've grabbed the upper hand, they've been absolutely excellent. They've got themselves back in at Rangers. We talked about mentality. Boy, they are going to have to show it second half. Oh, this crowd.
It's going to get toxic.
They weren't happy. Yeah, it's going to get toxic. It's going to ask more of their mentality, and they've not got it, as we've said for the start of the programme.
Yeah, we touched on the crowd, and there is a decent attendance here tonight, Tom. A lot of empty seats, perhaps 150 Dundee fans over in the corner. They're still holding out for a place in European football next season. It is still alive as things stand, although a real body blow, Tom, right before the break with that McCausland goal, a brief offside check, but the goal stood. They will surely face a much better Rangers team in the second period.
I wouldn't say surely,
no.
Kenny. I wouldn't be so confident. Again, Rangers have fallen 2-0 down in a game. They were kind of lucky that Dundee didn't score before the first goal. You know, it could be 3. Now Rangers could have a couple of chances as well. Silva hit the crossbar. He's through. I don't want to be picking on Silva all the time. I think I've made my point on him, and I'll kind of move on. But this is a Rangers team. Okay, they're missing a ton of players. That's true. But they still have a team out there that's pretty experienced. That's playing in front of their own crowd. That is kind of a must-win game for them. You know, every game is a must-win for Rangers. They've just had a bad result at the weekend. They need to give their own fans something good to go home tonight with, and they're not. You know, this is a lackluster performance. Dundee are better than them, hungrier than them, more physical than them. They look like a team. And you know, we can talk about tactics and cosmic tactics and all the rest of it. Dundee, if you simplify it, Dundee just look hungrier side tonight in that first half. It might change. Philip Clement might give them an absolute doing at half-time, and everything could flip in the second half.
Tom,
but it's wow, they've got a lot of work to do.
You say it's kind of a must-win game. Well, if I'm a Rangers supporter sitting in the stands tonight, I'm going, well, if we drop points tonight, Celtic win the league. That's not kind of a must-win game. And if the fans all around about us are watching that, they'll be saying, you don't get it. You don't get it. And either you've not got the mentality, as we spoke at length about, to do it, if you're talking about the kind of the mainstays, but the guys coming into the team, like your Silvas, you know, Dessers has been here, Diamande, yes, they need time, but they'll be saying that they don't get it. They don't understand.
Well, Tom's talking about Clement perhaps giving them a rock at half-time. Do you think these players can take that?
I was thinking that they're going to have to take it, because they're going to have to take it off the crowd anyway. You would. It's showdown time, isn't it? You're going to them. I'll tell you what, you've thrown it away at Ross County and Dundee, but you want to hand Celtic the title tonight and on our patch? No chance that happens. But flipping it again back to Dundee, Roddy said it. They're going to make St Mirren handle get to Europe themselves. Is it Hearts they go to?
They're at home to Hearts tomorrow.
So they're going to ask that question, try and get to the final game, and it's still in the balance. So Dundee have so much to hang on for.
St Mirren have got to go to Celtic on the final day, you know, so Dundee will think, get the job done here tonight. That piles the pressure on.
Yeah, so we're talking about Rangers, and he will be going tonto. I think it's come a time where you're past caring about what your players think. Some of them, a lot of them, you're going, okay, I've had to handle you and tramp over eggshells with you. You're getting something tonight, because you've got to realise, as Rory said, what this is about. As I say, Ross County, Dundee, but you're losing the title on your own patch. No chance.
I think as well, you know, from Dundee's perspective, I'm going to be interested to see how they do in the second half, because Tony Docherty said when they went 2-0 down, 2-0 up at Tynecastle and came back and they were beaten, he said that his team would learn a lot from that. So they're in a similar position here. So I'll be very interested to see in the second half how they cope and deal with being in that same position again, to see if they have learned from that night at Tynecastle when they were very good in the first half and not so good, because they have to have the courage of their convictions and play the same way in the second half, Kenny.
Yeah, in 10 days time, Tom, they've got a Scottish Cup final up against a Celtic side that beat them convincingly at the weekend, and you wouldn't bank on these Rangers players turning around the form in the final, would you?
No. I mean, we don't know what version of the Rangers team we're going to be getting at Hampden. We don't know how many of them are going to be fit. It's going to be very, you would imagine, for Rangers' sake, that it's going to be very different to this collection of players, or else they're completely goosed. So, but no matter what version of the Rangers team goes out at Hampden, Celtic are going to be the favourites, clear favourites. And I know it's crazy because the league is virtually gone, right? But it is for their self-respect, this is a big 45 minutes here, because it will be humiliating if they can't beat Dundee at home and force Celtic to win it tomorrow night. That's humiliation, and this crowd will let them have it with both barrels right between the eyes and the full-time whistle if they don't turn this around.
Yeah, that's dependent how many actually stay until the full-time whistle. So joy for Dundee so far, joy for Celtic so far, concern for the Rangers fans here, and also concern for St Mirren fans tuned in. A big game for them tomorrow evening at home to Hearts. Two big games in the playoffs for you this evening. We already heard from Amy Canavan at Firhill. Partick Thistle 0, Raith Rovers 2, Scott Brown and Lewis Vaughan with the goals. And Brian McLaughlin, I think the goals are raining in with you.
They absolutely are, yeah. We're into the 4th minute of the second half, and Spartans have just pulled a goal back. Ayrton Sonker, it was an absolutely lovely finish. He's looping the ball over Hogarth from around 16 yards. It was 2-0 at the break for Dumbarton. They were in real control. Gallagher Lennon, after 21 minutes, sent a long, deep cross. Seemed to get caught in the wind, and it certainly caught out Carswell in the Spartans' goal. He could only parry the ball out into the path of Tony Wallace, and knocked the ball home. And then just 8 minutes later, it was the second goal. Ruth down the left, a terrific cross met by Finlay Gray, who hammered the ball home. But Spartans are back in it now, thanks to that goal from Sonker. 850 inside the Rock this evening. It's pouring with rain. It's terrific football though, and of course a place in League One for next season is up at stake. We've now played 49 minutes in total, and it's Dumbarton 2, Spartans 1.
Good stuff, thanks to Brian McLaughlin there. One name that we didn't, when we were going through the Rangers squad list prior to the game, and he's on the bench tonight, Alex Lowry. Do you see any future? He had a reasonable time at Hearts, but then fell out the picture. Do you see him having any future under the manager here?
I think that's up to Alex Lowry. I think he's got all the attributes to be in and around the Rangers squad and the Rangers team. I think there's questions from when I've watched him over his work rate. I think he needs to really knuckle down, work hard, get in the gym, show the manager you're willing to work hard. I think his ability takes care of itself, Kenny. So I think it's down to Alex Lowry.
Yeah, you've seen stories like this before, Billy. He's all the potential in the world, but it's about doing it week in, week out, isn't it?
Yeah, squad-wise, he's got to knuckle down and definitely a bit more ruthless in attack as well. Sometimes at Hearts he was a wee bit lightweight, but he's got ability, but he's got to take on to the bigger stage just to get in the squad, never mind in the first team.
Well, the teams are out here at Ibrox. Full second half commentary to come. Rangers against Dundee with Billy Dodge, Roddy Loy and Liam McLeod.
It was a Mark O'Hara double the last time Dundee managed a win over Rangers, November 2017. O'Hara was also on the score sheet in a 2-1 Dens victory the season before. Kevin Holt getting the other for a Dundee side under Paul Hartley against a Rangers side managed by Graham Murty. Now, those 2 wins at Dens are Dundee's only victories over Rangers in 34 attempts, going back to that superb win under Ivano Benetti in March 01. Caniggia and Milne scored the goals, and they find themselves in a winning position right at the start of the second half here at Ibrox. They actually won here at Ibrox the season before that one under Benetti, when Jockey Scott was the manager. Craig Ireland and Rod Wallace traded goals before Gavray scored the winner in second half stoppage time. But those are their only wins here in 38 visits. The ref just about ready to get the second half underway. I think waiting for TV to come out of an ad break, so just a slight delay to the start of the second half here. No changes for either team. The Rangers with Butland in goal, Tavernier, King, Davis, Yilmaz, Raskin, Diamande, McCausland the goal scorer, Cantwell and Silva, Dessers for Dundee, McCracken in goal, McGee, Ashley, Portales and Dodson, Tiffany, Cameron, Silla, Boateng, McCowan and Bakayoko. And the Dundee goals coming from Jordan McGee's 5th of the season, and one there from Portales. Second half underway, Rangers in the blue and white going left to right. Blue shirts, white shorts, black socks with the red tops towards the Copeland Road end. Dundee in their change colours, white shirts, navy shorts. McCowan for Dundee, pressing it forward up the right there for Bakayoko. It's back the way to Cameron, who fires it forward. Now it's with King for Rangers, who exchanges passes with Davis. As it stands, Celtic will win the title, their 3rd in a row, their 12th in 13 seasons tonight. Still plenty for Rangers to play for to avoid that scenario. Leon King clips the ball forward towards Cantwell. Silla's there to head it out for a throw-in on this near side. It's Tavernier who bowls it back the way to King. Short ball square there to Raskin. Back to King. Rangers bid, of course, for a treble, domestic treble. It's hanging by the merest of threads. King with a long ball forward, Silva chesting it back the way, hooked away by Portales with Tavernier on the 18-yard line. In a dangerous position McCowan looking for Cameron. Cameron just bustles around. He's an excellent player, and there's been a few standouts. McCowan's been a standout this season for Dundee in the midfield, but is it fair to say Lyle Cameron just shades it this season?
Yeah, probably overall.
It's close.
It is very close. McCowan's had moments of magic, but Cameron, what impresses me, it's not just his work rate and his energy, which you would expect in a young player, but his reading of the game. He intercepts some, difficult passes, reads it, sees it, managed to intercept, then he gets his team on the front foot. He's been excellent all season, he really has.
Yilmaz for Rangers, driving forward, finding Tavernier to the left of the D outside the Dundee box. Slips it to the left for Silva, level with the 6-yard line now. Fabio Silva hits the byline, chips it across. It's behind McCausland though. One of the smaller players in the Rangers team. McCausland now to Cantwell, the right angle of the area, left-footed cross comes in. It's not a great header at all by Astley. He headed it back towards his own goal, and Silva's bicycle kick was high over the bar. Really tight angle. He's doing very well to score from there, even if he did once cost £35 million. 47.5 on the clock. Rangers 1, Dundee 2.
Not sure exactly what happened to Ashley. It was as if his legs just buckled because he was waiting on the ball. It wasn't a particularly great ball from Cantwell out to the right, turns on to the left, low cross, and he's just waiting on it and the legs go, and he pops up there, and that allows Silva to try the overhead kick, but gets it all wrong.
Keep you up to date with what's going on elsewhere, of course, in that Premiership playoff semi-final first leg. Raith Rovers taking control of the tie. Brown and Vaughan goals. They are 2-0 up at Firhill against Partick Thistle. And Dumbarton 2, Spartans 1 in the League One playoff final. Those two in the first legs. At Ibrox, it's Dundee with a 2-1 lead. And they have it down that left-hand side. Poked down the line by Silla. Back down towards his own goal, though. Picked up by Astley, who whips a long ball forward with the right foot. Comes all the way through to Butland. Conditions have eased, which is nice to see. The rain has eased off completely. As Tavernier picks up on this near side. Really slick surface still, though. As King moves it into the centre circle for Ben Davies.
Your sausage roll is safe from the rain there, Liam.
Not got time to finish it.
I'll take it.
I'm going to keep asking you questions so you can't eat it. It's back with McCracken. He has it in his gloves. Will be so disappointed. He was beaten by Ross McCausland. That's a poor bowl out as well, straight to the Rangers goal scorer. Finds Cantwell, back to McCausland, now with Tavernier. McCausland and then Tavernier. Moving infield, side football into the centre circle for Davis. And he pushes it back into the feet of Raskin. Out to Cantwell on the right-hand side. McCausland on the touchline if he wants him. Steady moves infield. Dundee trying to hold their line here. Cantwell side football to Yilmaz. Rolls it out to Silva on that left-hand side. Short infield to Cantwell, who's on the spin away from Silla. Right football with the outside of the boot is cut out, and Dundee get it away with Cameron, and now Bakayoko finds Tipperary. Cameron's away, he doesn't spot him though, but he has managed to find Dodson on this near side. McCausland slides in on the challenge, and out it goes for a throw-in on this near side. If he spots Lyle Cameron, he has tried to stay onside for as long as possible. He didn't see him, and the chance goes.
Yeah, I mean, Fabio Silva's ambling back at best, and it creates a whole lot of room for Cameron. But I mean, it must be a concern for Philip Clement how easy Dundee on the counter are getting huge gaps and opportunities. I mean, it's a simple ball up to Bakayoko, he pops it off, and all of a sudden there's a whole lot of room, as there is for McGee out on the right hand side now.
Tiffany switching it out to McGee, takes a touch, right footed, cross ball comes in. It's a comfortable take for Butland on the 6-yard line. And he's looking for someone in blue to release it to. Eventually he does to King, though he wasn't happy with the limited number of options that were open to him there. As King side foots it to the left for Yilmaz. The line for Silva. On the halfway line is back into his own half for Yilmaz. Almost on 51, Dundee have got through the opening 6 minutes of the second half with their lead still intact. King with a short switch there to Davis, taking it up to halfway into the Dundee half, out to Cantwell on the left hand side. Infield to Silva, and now Yilmaz. Cantwell burrowing down the left, tries to cross, cut out by Silla. Cantwell gets it again, he's managed to dig the cross out. Desser's header, and it's in! Rangers have the equaliser! 7 minutes into the second half. It's a really fine header as well from Cyril Dessers for his 22nd goal in Rangers colours, and it is all square at Ibrox. Rangers 2, Dundee 2.
Yeah, really good movement in the box from Dessers to get away from his marker. He's at the front post, goes into the centre of the goal, makes that little movement towards the ball, and he glances it into the corner. McCracken's unlucky, he can't quite get there. Don't know if he should maybe do better, it's difficult to say. Gets a full hand on it, but can't keep it out the net. Cantwell does well down the left-hand side. Good finish from Dessers.
Yeah, it's different from Cantwell, isn't it? He comes deep, but then he also takes off. So there's a bit of dynamic presence to it. When he gets there, turns it back, cross, and Dessers, as you say, loses man to knock it home.
Oh, here come Rangers with Silva. Good skill, now driving forward. There might be a little bit more energy in the Rangers' legs now. Silva tries to get back onto it, goes down, clutching his Achilles, gets back to his feet. He is limping though. Dundee in possession with McCowan, and out to this near side for Dodson. This is a movie Tony Docherty's seen before, and he's down there shaking his head. He turned away from the pitch in disgust when he saw Desser's header nestling in the net. It's one that John McCracken could have done better with it. Saw a brief replay of it on the big screen over on that far side, and anyway, it is 2 apiece.
Initially I thought he was unlucky, Liam, but then I did glance up at the screen, and he gets enough of a hand on it, you would think, to keep it out the net. Maybe one we need to see again.
It is King out to Tavernier on this near side, and it comes off a Dundee man out for a Rangers throw-in, which McCausland takes. Infield looking for Dessers. Dundee win it back with McCowan. Up to halfway, down to the left, the pacey Tiffany's onto it, driving down this near side. Tavernier gets back at him. He goes down, it's Tiffany, but there's no free kick coming. It's a Rangers throw-in, which Tavernier takes quickly to Cantwell. Looks up, long ball looking for Dessers. Flicked away by Portales. Now it's Raskin, out to McCausland on this near side. Infield to Raskin, forward to McCausland, sliding in to prevent it getting there is McCowan. Now it's Tiffany, which bounces off McCausland and out of play for a throw-in on this near side. Tony Docherty will be fuming. His team are 2-0 up going into first half stoppage time, and within 7 minutes of the restart, it's all square again.
You could feel it, couldn't you? In terms of the goal, even though it was only 2-1, it just sucked the life out of Dundee a wee bit. And don't get me wrong, the crowd still gave Rangers a bit, but they were always going to come out and have a go even at 2-0, but 2-1 just probably giving them that belief to come out and overturn the game.
It was such a crucial 4 minutes, Billy, wasn't it? It really was, between the second goal and half-time.
There's a Dundee throw-in on this near side. Dodgson will take it. Infield to McCowan, stepping away from Diamonde, reversing it infield. There to Tiffany, and out with Silla, left of the centre circle, spreading the play out to Jordan McGee. Driving down that right-hand side, plenty in Dundee colours in the middle. The cross wasn't great. Low, cleared by Davis. Dessers then trying to put the pressure on, albeit Ashley nicks it away from him. Just to the right of the centre circle. Raskin wins it back off Lyle Cameron in the midfield, up the line. Dessers back into the path of Yilmaz. Good running by Yilmaz. Diamonde back into the path of Yilmaz, left-hand side of the box. Early ball in. It's poor, way too close to McCracken, and it stays Rangers 2. Dundee 2, but there's definitely been more about Rangers since the break.
Yeah, there's been a little bit of a lift since that second goal went in. I actually think Diomande takes the wrong option there. I know Yilmaz can be guilty of picking the wrong option himself, but I think if Diomande drives forward, then he's got options either side, and it asks the question of the Dundee defence. Whereas I think he made it a little bit easier for them.
Ben Davis onto a long Dundee ball, and he turns it back to his keeper. Butland short to Leon King, the right centre back. And he's striding up towards halfway. Forward looking for Diamonde, read by McCowan, but Diamonde gets back onto it. Shifts it to Raskin. He's in the centre circle in the Dundee half, out to the left for Yilmaz. Yilmaz onto that left-hand touchline there, Fabio Silva. Silva finds Cantwell. And to Silva again, to Cantwell. Now Diamande just outside the circle. Side football, short forward to Cantwell. It's fouled there by Silla. He's back onto it. Little give and go with McCausland. Cantwell shoots and brings a really good save out of McCracken. Low to his right. Came through a ruck of bodies as well. It's good goalkeeping by John McCracken. And he denies Todd Cantwell turning this game Rangers' way. It stays 2 apiece.
Well, he's shown the player he can be when he gets the nonsense out his head, Todd Cantwell, because he's been clipped a couple of times in this second half. He's straight back up, he's on it, he's sharp, and he's probably been Rangers' best player in this second half so far. He's making things tick.
Malachi Boateng picks up wide on the right for Dundee, and he slips it low back into his own half for Cameron. They've got obviously got a good few lone players in the squad, Dundee, but there's plenty sellable assets in that team as well, which Tony Docherty will be hoping will be hanging around for another go at it next season. Boateng can't keep it in play on the far side. That's going to be a throw-in to Rangers, and that Rangers equalise, and of course music to the ears of St Mirren as well, because if Dundee don't win this game, St Mirren's long-awaited return to continental competition will be over. As Tavernier moves it back to King, to Raskin, and then to Leon King again. Walking pace, looking for some help, and then in the end he squares it to Davis, who finds Yilmaz. Now he's driving forward. This is brilliant from Ridvan Yilmaz, driving up towards the edge of the box. He's going to get a shot away as well, and it's not far from finding the target either. Saw him score a goal from a similar run like that in a League Cup tie early in the season. It was the one against Livingston, and that went well over in the end, and 2 minutes shy of the hour mark it remains. Rangers 2, Dundee 2. We'll get the guys' thoughts on that impact from Yilmaz in a moment, but Kerridine can bring us news of a change.
Yeah, Rangers going to change it up with a young Robbie Fraser stripped and ready for action before the hour mark.
Dundee have it with Dodgson on this near side, facing his own goal though, and back into his own half he has to go. 2-2 here at Ibrox. Silla managing to evade the challenge of Diamande, and he's found Cameron, and out to that right hand side for McGee. They've knocked it about with some confidence, Dundee, tonight. And here's Bakayoko onto a loose ball, and it's McCowan with a shot, and he tests Butland not as much as he would have liked to, and it stays Rangers 2, Dundee 2. Good build-up play by the D.
No, it was fired into Bakayoko, and he just lays it off to him. Did it take a little nick when he hit it? It looked as if there was some pace taken off it, but Butland had to make a good stop down to his left-hand side. Again, Dundee just picking those passes, finding the right players at the right times to try and open up Rangers. Rangers need Yilmaz to just keep doing what he's doing. I'd like to see more from...
he's really small, Yilmaz.
Tavernier, yeah.
Billy, but he's tenacious, isn't he? He's so sharp off the mark. He just sprinted away from a few Dundee players like they weren't even there.
Cantwell on this near side, he's won it back off Silla. Docherty thinks that's a free kick for Dundee. Rangers play on, it's Cantwell, he's in the box, chips it to the left hand side of the area, and Silva's got to do better with the header. Dessers once again is claiming for a penalty. Now if there is a penalty in there, the video assistant will sort that one out now, but Silva, what a chance that was for him.
It was, and you know, Dessers was getting his shirt pulled, but it's also interesting to see if it gets pulled back again, Silla, because it did look like a foul on Silla to me. So maybe a few things for VAR to check, or who knows.
Well, that change,
can never guess.
No, that change for Rangers coming now, and it will be Yilmaz off. Did hear his manager say that he would get not much more than 45 minutes, and he's putting a good show, and he's getting the applause from the Rangers supporters for that. Not many of them would be getting applause tonight, certainly not at the break. And Robbie Fraser comes on for his debut. He's a left back. It's a like-for-like change. Scotland under-21 international. I think he's out of contract at the end of this season, so he's getting an opportunity here to show what he can do for the last half hour or so. Rangers 2, Dundee 2.
Great moment for the young lad, really is. Going back to Yilmaz, you get the feeling as if he's preparing them for the cup final, just in terms of minutes, what he's doing with them, and he'll be an automatic pick come the big game against Celtic.
Yeah. I mean, he dislodged Borna Barisic anyway. Now that Barisic's future appears to lie elsewhere, you would suspect that will be the case, and Robbie Fraser on for a debut rather than going to Barisic, who is amongst the Rangers subs this evening. It's 2-2. Rangers have come from 2-0 down to get back on level terms, but this is still a scoreline that would see Celtic win the league tonight. Rangers have to win to prolong it by another 24 hours, and Celtic go to Kilmarnock.
I've been in that position that Robbie Fraser's in, standing at the side of the pitch waiting to make your debut here. It's exciting, but at the same time he's got to be laser focused, and if he is out of contract in the summer, then I'm sure his agent's licking his lips at this appearance here.
Yeah. It's Tavernier though, winning it back off Tiffany on this near side. Tiffany putting the pressure on. Diamande goes back to King, clips it forward looking for Cantwell. Silla beats him to it. Strong play from Silla. He's enjoyed the battle tonight, hasn't enjoyed some of the decisions at times by the referee. Raskin turns it back to Davis. 62 on the clock, 2 apiece. Here's Tavernier. Tavernier goes long with the right foot, looking down the left channel there for Silva. One back though by Boateng. And then McGee, the referee, brings it back for a foul by Silva. That will be a free kick to Dundee at the edge of their box. So 2-2 here. They are almost 10 into the second half at Firhill, where Raith Rovers have taken a serious stranglehold of that Premiership playoff semi-final. 2-0 up in the first leg. Goals from Brown and Vaughan in the first half. Dumbarton 2, Spartans 1. Wallace and Gray. Dumbarton 2-0 up. Ayrton Sonker though giving Spartans all kinds of hope ahead of the second leg at Ainsley at the weekend. More to come tomorrow in the Premiership. Kilmarnock, Celtic, St Mirren Hearts, Aberdeen, Livingston, Hibs, Motherwell and St Johnstone against Ross County. Celtic are crowned champions tonight. That's the match of the night tomorrow. St Johnstone and Ross County trying to stay out of the bad playoff, if you like. The 11th spot. Rangers come down the left, but it's a poor ball and it goes behind. Fraser sliding in, can't keep it in play, and it will be a goal kick. It's 2-2, 64th minute.
Yeah, it's good to see him get his first touch. Robbie Fraser took a touch and played it across the back to Leon King. And it was a few minutes before when he came on that the ball just wasn't going down his side, so he'll feel a lot better now he's eased into the game.
Ben Davis clears. McCowan losing out to Silva in the midfield. Silva flicks it forward for McCausland. Not a great first touch. He bounces away from him. Breaks to Cantwell to the right. Tavernier. Silva points to the ground where he wants it, and he's on to it right hand side of the box. So Portales comes out on top in that 50-50, and it comes off Cantwell and out for a Dundee throw-in on this near side. Billy, how do you think the Dundee reaction's been to the double blow of the goals either side of the break?
Honestly, took the words out of my mouth. I was just going to say they've settled, haven't they? Because when Rangers get the second and the equaliser, you fear for them that they're just going to capitulate, which they've done on occasion this season. But they've still shown they can be capable on the break and still be dangerous, and they're starting to get the composure back in the ball.
Cantwell for Rangers, flicking it to the right hand side of the D for Diamande. Now Raskin turns it to Fraser, and then square it to his captain Tavernier. Low ball out wide right. Cantwell takes a touch on the right. It's a good ball in, but it's gone all the way in. Todd Cantwell has rifled that into the top left corner from this right hand side touchline. You'd be doing pretty well to convince anyone that that wasn't a cross, but for Rangers and for Todd Cantwell, they do not care, because they do not want Celtic to be crowned champions tonight inside their own stadium. They've come from 2-0 down to lead. It's Rangers 3, Dundee 2.
It's some finish, we'll say that, but it's a cross, isn't it? It's a bullet. I mean, it actually thumps off the crossbar and the post. Sailed right over McCracken, going at some pace. I thought it was going out the pitch to start with. It takes a little dip, and right in the top corner. There's no chance for the goalkeeper. He's just trying to fizz it across. Fair play to Cantwell, he's turned this game around.
I mean, his celebration suggested that he meant it.
No chance.
But as you say, Liam, he's going to do well to convince anyone, because that was a bit of sheer luck from a mishit cross, and I feel for Dundee actually and Tony Docherty, because that's a huge slice of luck that's went against them, Liam.
Fair credit to him though, he's taken some stick, and we were picking him out at half time. He had to stand up.
He just gets on with it.
Just gets on
with his game, Billy. Do you know what I think?
Yeah, keep the head down. Don't do your talking on the pitch. I've heard the phrase before, but don't do it off and get caught up on other things. Just concentrate on your game and you'll do okay.
It's a 7th goal of the season for Todd Cantwell, whether he meant it or not. It counts, and that's the bottom line. You do see it every now and again, and there's another example of it. Always looks spectacular. So the Aberdeen under-18 side win with a spectacular goal from distance last night against Celtic, 2-0 down on 86 minutes. They won 3-2. They're the champions of the under-18 league. And here Cantwell from distance on the near side at Ibrox, and it's 3-2, and it's McCausland. A Rangers win keeps the title race ticking over to tomorrow. And here's a chance for Rangers. Silva's in, good slide block there by Portales. Desser's trying to get on to it, putting pressure on McCracken, and it goes behind. Goal kick it will be. Desser's felt there was a corner. We've got a quarter of this one left. Rangers 3, Dundee 2. Tony Docherty down there with a notepad in his right hand. He must be so frustrated, because without a win here since 2001, they found themselves 2-0 up going into first half stoppage time.
Well, that's why it's so difficult to win here. You never feel secure even at 2-0 up. But they've got a little bit of a swagger about them in this second half. Rangers, Cantwell's rid of the nonsense. He's turned up and he's shown what a good player he can be. I think McCausland's shown up well in this second half as well. Diamonde, even Silva at times has enjoyed a little bit of good play down the left-hand side as well. So it's been a much more polished performance, shall we say.
They've had to show some character as well, these Rangers players, because at 2-0 down, this crowd was baying for blood. They managed to get the goal from McCausland before the break, and that's proved crucial. And they are 3-2 up with little over 20 left. Free kick Dundee, just outside the centre circle. Cameron with it, right-footed, bends it to the left-hand side of the box, comes off Tavernier. Diamonde will get onto it. Low ball forward to McCausland. Faces the Dundee goal, finds Cantwell, who gives it away, and then McCowan plays it off Tavernier. And out for a throw-in on this near side. Kerridine, I think, can bring us news of Dundee alterations.
There's going to be at least a double change for Dundee on 68 minutes, 20 minutes plus a couple to get a goal back. It's Dara Costello who's going to come on, and who is going to join him? I reckon it's probably going to be Curtis Main with Costello for the last 20 minutes.
Boateng for Dundee. Out to Portales on this near side. Low ball short to Dodgson. Turns it back first time to his keeper. Still 2-0 to Raith Rovers. What a position they're putting themselves in. An hour gone, live in the BBC Scotland channel. That one on the telly. Partick Thistle 0, Raith Rovers 2 in the first leg of the Premiership playoff semi. The first leg of the League One playoff final. It's Dumbarton 2, Spartans 1. The Suns had been 2-0 up in that one. Here's Cantwell for Rangers on the right-hand side. Drifts the ball towards Dessers. Can he get it under control? Has to come back outside the box. Passes it forward straight off McCausland. I think he was trying to find Silva there. McCausland's kept it in play though. And back out to the left for Fraser. Now with Raskin. Short to Diamonde. To Raskin. Forward to Tavernier. Just stabs it back to Diamonde. He slips, bounces straight back up under pressure from Tiffany, finds Tavernier. Lovely shimmy by Tavernier at the edge of the box. Forward for Silva. Bit too much on it for Fabio Silva. And it's right through to McCracken, but the Rangers supporters are enjoying what they're watching here all of a sudden.
Yeah, it opened up for Tavernier about 30 yards out, and it looked like he was just going to come on and strike it with the laces. I'm surprised he didn't take that option. He tries to find Silva quite unselfishly, who was cutting in from the right-hand side, but couldn't quite make the pass work.
Rangers winning it back in the final third here. Dessers, good challenging by Silla, and Dundee are able to get it clear.
Dundee are chasing now, so they're open, and you feel as if Rangers, every time they get it, they can create something. That's that's your tactics right there. You start getting the upper hand, the other team chasing it open, and you start playing football.
Just 5 wins in their last 12 matches for Rangers coming into this one. Their form tailed off at just the wrong time in the campaign. 45,000 or so, just above that inside Ibrox for this one tonight. As Astley slides in and prevents it getting through to McCausland wide on the left. Throw in to be taken by Robbie Fraser. Infield for Cantwell. Flicks it in for Dessers. Again, Sila's there to get it away. It's taking a while to get back to his feet here. Dundee waiting to make that double change. They've got it back here, Dundee. It's a long ball by Cameron looking for Tiffany in behind King. The goalkeeper commits himself. Butland, he's done brilliantly well. Good sweeper keeping there by Jack Butland. He clips it forward and it's Silva here for Dessers. Tony Docherty thinks this is offside. Little flick from Cantwell. Doesn't get to Silva. Breaks back to Cantwell. Silva's there and he forces the save from McCracken. And it goes behind for the corner in 72. It is Rangers 3, Dundee 2.
I mean, Cantwell's involved again, and you know, Silva who ended up getting a shot away, but Dessers, he's an enigma at times. I mean, you know, he's the classic example of stats against the eye. His stats are very good this season, but there's occasions where you're watching him going, I don't even know if he knows what he's going to do. And then he shows moments of a real good quality as well. He's a hard one to judge, Cyril Dessers.
It's going to be a triple change rather than the double change. Main, Costello and Finn Robertson waiting to come on. Rangers corner, and it comes, and it's flicked away to the left-hand side. That came from the right. King to Fraser, left angle of the box, crosses in. Dessers heads down, and what a great save that was from McCracken. He's made 3 excellent saves in the second half. That's probably the pick of them, as he threw himself to his right to save low from Cyril Dessers. He must have thought he was grabbing his second of the evening. 73 on the clock, and 3-2 Rangers it remains.
Well, the one before I thought was good as well, just getting to his left-hand side because Silva takes it early, but that's excellent, bouncing in front of him. Strong header, gets the palm on it to get away. What a brilliant save it is.
Silva to Cantwell, he's in the box at the byline, smashes it across, and somehow it ricochets off Dessers' right foot and over the bar with an open goal in front of him.
That's a bit harsh, Liam. I mean, it's an absolute thunderbolt. It just hits off him. It goes over the bar. I think it's a little bit harsh. It is, in essence, an open goal 5 yards out, but I don't know if there's much he can do. He can't react in time, but just on his last chance, it was a great save, as Billy's touched on, but a lovely ball in from the debutant as well, Robbie Fraser.
Sitting next to 2 strikers, you're not going to be agreeing with me as the changes are made.
I don't agree with you whether I'm a striker or not, or an ex-striker.
Nah, true. Bakayoko, let me concentrate on the subs with you.
Okay,
Bakayoko, Tiffany and Silla are the 3 to come off. And Costello, Robertson and Main come on. And Rangers are going to have to get the medical team on because Leon King's gone down. He hasn't had much action this season. This is just his 5th appearance and his first start, but Cole McKinnon is going to have to replace him. And again, Rory, it's another chance for one of the younger players to get some action.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because Cole McKinnon's a forward player, an attacking midfielder. So that channel is extremely loud. So I'm interested to see what kind of shape they go with, what they do, or whether they try and move things around. We'll wait and see when he comes on, but to my way of thinking, to my knowledge, McKinnon, certainly Partick Thistle would often play higher up in the midfield.
Yeah, a midfielder, isn't he? He's a midfielder. But perhaps he'll have to do a job elsewhere. We shall see how this goes. It looks as though Diamonde is going to go back.
Somebody will have to go to centre half, maybe Tavernier.
It's Tavernier. Right back, yeah. It is Tavernier, yeah. Tavernier's going to right centre back. 15 left here, Rangers 3-2 up.
I mean, when I was at Rangers as a youngster, there was a lot of players in the academy, so I was in the high 50s at one point. But 93, that is a high squad number. That must be his favourite number or something. That just can't be down to the sheer amount of youth players they've got at Rangers at the moment.
It's just his 4th appearance in the Rangers first team, all subs. And he's won it back well there on Costello, and now it's Silva. He's now driving forward up towards the edge of the Dundee box, right to the D. Still he goes, chips it back across. Comfortable for McCracken though. He holds on in his 6-yard area. Rangers with a 3-2 lead. Given the hole they found themselves in, they'd settle for that as a full-time score.
Yeah, I certainly didn't see this game ending with Rangers 3-2 up, quite comfortable in the game, and giving the youngsters a run out.
Tavernier with a header. He's kind of backpedaling a bit there. He's done well to find McKinnon on this near side. He's gone to right back. Here's Costello for Dundee. Spent the first half of the season at St Johnstone, of course, on loan from Burnley. Given away, Raskin wins it back. It's Robertson who was ransacked there in the midfield. Raskin to the left-hand side of the box for Dessers. Taking on Astley. Playing it back to the edge of the area, Cantwell gets it back, looks up at the goal, he hits it, blocked by Boateng. But when he had it initially, Cantwell, that looked like his moment to shoot at goal. But that's been the case for Rangers quite often this season when they have been in the final third, just overcooking it, taking too long over things.
You can see he's enjoying his game, isn't he? But he's getting into the stage, he's trying to showboat a little bit now.
Portales has passed it back towards his keeper. He was still at the angle, almost from where we were. Looked like that might have been heading in to his own net. Astley turns it out to McGee on that right-hand side. Feels like a half while ago now since Jordan McGee gave Dundee the lead and scored their 2 goals in 2 minutes, as Celtic did against Rangers at the weekend. Here is Portales to the midway point of his own half. A little square ball for Astley. And the Welshman, and the low ball out to the right. McGee fires it forward. Good tape by Cameron. Really good control. He couldn't quite find Main though. He tried to prod it forward. And Rangers clear all the way through to McCracken at the edge of his own box. Side football forward there by Portales. Picked up by McKinnon though. Here's Diamonde. Forward to Cantwell. Cantwell then down the right-hand side. Dessers waiting in the middle, pulled back by Cantwell. Dessers takes the touch and then takes another one. Silva's there and he puts it wide. Deflected corner. But yet another example of Rangers forwards wanting to take way too many touches in the opposition box.
Somebody's just got to say to Cyril Dessers, like, see, every time the ball comes through the box, just hit it first time, son. You ain't getting the time you're expecting in so many occasions to take a touch, to do a flick, to drag it, to do a back heel. I've seen him do it so often. I would take him aside and say it in a nice way, but somebody's got to get the message to him. You're not getting time and space in there, I'm sorry.
Rangers corner to be taken by Cantwell. Out swinger with the right foot, into the box it comes. The header by Dessers towards goal. McCracken gets there. He was strong against Silva, and it stays Rangers 3, Dundee 2.
Every time he does it though, you see the result where it's just instinctive. Cross, header, goal.
I think you could understand it more, Billy, as well, if it was a potentially difficult finish or awkward. I mean, that was perfect. It was coming across his body on his right foot.
But that was the beauty of Morelos. He didn't really, when Morelos had more time to think about it, that's when he missed the chance. But he would shoot on sight, and I guess the great strikers all do that.
No messing around.
Yeah. Rangers have it on the left. Here is McCausland. Getting it from Fraser, driving down the left flank, breaks to Dessers at the edge of the box. He sweeps for goal, and it's pretty well wide in the end. It'll be a goal kick to Dundee. He's got a wry smile on his face, Dessers.
That's the way to do it. I think the crowd have told him, because they just moan at him every time he takes 2, 3, 4 touches. Then the chance is gone.
I mean, that's a very similar action that he's had to do there, but it's on his weak side, 20 yards further out, and he chooses to shoot that time. Strange.
Well, if he learns to shoot on sight from next season, it'll be one heck of a striker Rangers have in their hands, because 22 goals when he's been pilloried for much of this campaign is pretty good going.
I'll give him one thing: he never hides. He never hides. No. Maybe takes too many touches at times, but the big lad never hides.
It's his 16th league goal of the season, and only Tavernier and Shanklin ahead of him. He's gone level with Miovski in that count. Triple change for Rangers coming up in a moment. Get Carradine to tell us about it shortly. Here is McKinnon, back to Raskin, now to McKinnon on the near side. We're into the final 10 here at Ibrox. Still 2-0 Wraith Rovers against Partick Thistle, who themselves of course surrendered a 2-0 lead in the first leg of last season's playoff final against Ross County. In fact, just saying that, There's been a goal at Firhill. It's crossed to Amy. Who's it for, Amy?
It's for Partick Thistle, Liam. Where has that came from? I do not know, but it's Partick Thistle 1, Wraith Rovers 2. A real slice of good fortune. Brian Graham just sort of hurtled down into the ground and managed to flick it into the path of Blair Alston, who's just the second on the park. I'm pretty sure it's his first touch, and he has sent it beyond Kevin Dabrowski. As I say, instant impact. Not really sure where it came from, because Thistle, nothing was falling for them at Firhill. Wraith had been all over them. They're going again, Wraith Rovers there, but Partick Thistle have just cleared their lines. A bit of a lifeline. It is, of course, only half time come the end of the game in this tie, with the sides meeting again at Stars Park on Friday. But it is Partick Thistle 1, Wraith Rovers 2.
That's game on now. If that's 2-1, that's a much different second leg on Friday night than had it been 2-0. As Rangers make the changes, Kennedy.
Yeah, they've waited a wee while to come on, but Kamar, Roof, Kieran Dowell and Scott Wright are coming on. Cyril Dessers was one of the numbers raised there, as well as Mohamed Diamande coming off, and Fabio Silva.
Dessers off. And Diamande making his way to the touchline now. And Dessers having a little word with his manager in there as well. And off comes Silva and Roof. Another injury hit season for Kemar Roof. He is on for the closing 8 minutes plus stoppages. But Dessers really, Billy, should be walking off the pitch with more than the one goal in the hipper.
Yeah, but it was a fine finish with his header before that, but he's missed a couple, just the usual. We come to expect it now. You've talked about his tally of goals for the season. It's excellent. Could have been a whole lot more. Just needs to sharpen up as a striker, and he'll do fine.
Here come Dundee. Not out of this yet. Well, they need a win to prevent St Mirren qualifying for Europe tonight. Main gets the ball in. It's a good one as well. And Tavernier is to steer it behind for the corner, with Luke McCowan waiting in behind him.
Yeah, Billy spoke about Cantwell, showboating, and just the feel of the subs coming on and the young boys on the pitch. I think the Rangers players and manager need to realise it's 3-2, so they still need potentially another goal buffer to make this an easy last 5 minutes.
8 goals in 10 games for Dessers, incidentally. Dundee corner. Fizzed into the near post. Astley gets a flick onto it, but Butland will claim on the follow-up, and it will stay Rangers 3, Dundee 2. As we were just hearing from Amy there, Partick Thistle have breathed new life into their playoff hopes. 2-1 Wraith Rovers. And heading towards full time at the Rock as well. Dumbarton 2, the Spartans 1. So those two ties, that's the League One playoff final. Those two ties will be more finely poised than we thought they were going to be at points this evening. Should it stay that way? Little flick by Dowell, who's just on now. It's Scott right at the edge of the area. He shoots, it's blocked. Dundee have it here. Little chip ball up towards halfway for Curtis Main, trying to hold off Raskin. And breaks to Cantwell, who'll fire it back to Butland. One thing for Rangers, and look, I don't think even the most optimistic Rangers supporter would think that they were going to claw the gap back on Celtic. Even if Celtic were to lose their 2 games, they also had to overturn the goal difference. And this is just a 1 goal margin of victory it stands at right now. So that's not exactly going to make massive inroads on that column, even if they'll get back to within 3 points. There's Cantwell for Roof. He can't control it, and it will be swept away by Lyle Cameron. Davis wins the header on Main, finds Raskin to Davis and back to Tavernier. Rolls it forward to Dowell. Left-footed ball out to the far side, it's cut out. Cameron has it. An all-action performance from Lyle Cameron for Dundee, who, as it stands, need 2 goals to maintain their hopes of qualifying for Europe. But as Michael Mellon waits to come on down below us for Malachi Boateng, it still goes down in the ledger as an excellent season for Dundee. And you consider, Rory, this time last year, just over a year ago, they were battling with Queen's Park on the final day for automatic promotion.
Yes, and the board at Dundee, who have been much maligned over the recent seasons, changing managers, making poor decisions and poor timing of things. I think a few eyebrows were raised when they sacked Gary Bow. He went and won the championship. However, when Tony Docherty came in, think everybody at the club was delighted with the appointment, and it's paid dividends. He's been excellent. They've had an excellent year.
It's all over at the Rock. Dumbarton 2, the Spartans 1 in the League One playoff final. As Dowell comes forward towards the edge of the Dundee box, clips it through Roof, and now it's McCausland, still alive. Roof's there, his effort's blocked. Now it's Dowell, delicate chip ball back right, can score, and does. And the Rangers sub manages to knock it home, and that will seal the points for Rangers, who have asked Celtic to serve it out themselves when they go to Kilmarnock tomorrow evening. It's proven to be another difficult evening at times for the home team, but they will win this match, and Dundee's hopes of European football have been extinguished as well. It is Rangers 4, Dundee 2. St Mirren are going into Europe.
Yeah, there'll be a few happy buddies. As for that finish there from Scott Wright, listen, it probably needed to be untidy, but it wasn't the tidiest finish I've ever seen. But the fact that it bounces and bobbles up once he takes his shot actually helps it into the net. Roof's initial shot's blocked, comes back out, clipped to the back post, and Scott Wright got a lot of time to think about it. Not the most clean of connections, Billy, but it found its way into the net.
Doesn't matter if it ends in the net, does it, Rory?
That's right.
Being a 12-2 former strikers, it was a good ball by Dill. He had a lot to do. Once Roof has his shot, it's pinged away at the left-hand side. He's got to dig out. It's the only ball that he's really got. If he'd fizzed into the bodies, it would have probably been clear. But nice clip to the back post and a good finish from Scott Wright.
Third of the season for Wright, and a bit part player this campaign. Has started a couple of matches he perhaps wouldn't have expected him to in Europe, in the derby here against Celtic last month. And he gets his goal. Of course, wrote his name into Rangers folklore with that goal in the cup final in 22 against Hearts. As we head into the final 2 minutes of the 90. 4-2 to Rangers, and I guess, Rory, as I said there, for them tonight, it was all about making sure that Celtic had to go and do the business themselves at Rugby Park tomorrow. A ground, incidentally, they haven't won at this season. In fact, a ground they've lost on both visits to this season.
Yeah, very different circumstances tomorrow night, though, it has to be said, Liam. He's got a squad back to full fitness, best players back. Not doing them the service, Kilmarnock. Two great performances, results, of course, but I expect Celtic to take something from the game tomorrow night.
Yeah, a draw would be enough for Celtic in the end. Here come Rangers down the left-hand side, ball across, and just had no takers there. It's a wonderful ball in by the youngster down that left-hand side, and it just looked as though it was begging for a final touch onto it.
He's done well since he came on, Robert Fraser.
I know what I liked there, he was just so direct, and he showed a lot of quality. He just got the head down after burners on, gets to about maybe 12 yards out, and then you're looking, right, can he shape across? Shaped a brilliant ball right across the face of goal.
Should have an assist to his name. Dessers didn't do anything wrong with the one earlier on. Actually, it was a good header. McCracken makes a good save, but I would expect Roof, he's an instinctive striker, to be between the sticks there to tap that one in.
Goal difference is down to +5. Points differential 3. Rangers have one game left after this, and that is at Tynecastle on Saturday. Celtic at home to St Mirren after they get tomorrow's trip to Kilmarnock out the road. Here's Wright, 360-degree turn. Cantwell to Wright, to Roof, to Cantwell. What a goal that would have been. He's put it wide of the left-hand post. Final minute, final few seconds of the 90. Rangers 4, Dundee 2, and the stoppage time will be 4 minutes.
Kieran Dowell lost his boot there. He's looked pretty good since he's come on. It's probably not the most difficult time to look good. 3-2, 4-2 up against Dundee, kind of getting the last 10-15 minutes. It's a good time to come on and take part in the game, but as Tom alluded to before the game, he actually said that Cantwell may well come and turn it on tonight, but let's be honest, the big one's in 11 days.
It's good play though, wasn't it? The way they popped it around in the layoff and then the Cantwell strike. They've had to lift it, they had to handle the mentality turning this round. They've done that, to be fair to them.
Yeah, they have, yep.
It is Dundee over on the right hand side as they attack the Rangers box in stoppage time. But this game's gone for them, and their supporters celebrated wildly. They've got probably about 100 fans over there on that far side have come down to support the team, but it was always a tall order after, well, the run just now, the winless run they've on. They've lost their last 3, and of course crucially lost at home to St Mirren.
It's life in the top 6 though, isn't it?
It is. When you always suspected that it was that game would be the crucial one. It would be the match-up between the two at Dens, and it was St Mirren who emerged on top. And Dundee haven't been in European football since 2004. That wait is going to go on. It is massive for them to finish in the top 6, of course, and that is that would have been seen as an extremely lofty ambition before a ball was kicked this season, as Rufus flagged offside as he was released down that left-hand flank. But look, the bottom line is, with 2 minutes of this left, staying up was the big target for Dundee this season. They've ended up mixing it with the top 6, and that is exactly the kind of thing that Dundee supporters want to see from their club going forward.
That's it in a nutshell, isn't it? The remit, probably just stay in the league, don't be a yo-yo club, and then suddenly they stay up and you just think, oh, maybe Europe now.
There's a chance for Rangers though. McCausland looking for another one here, finds Wright, eyes up the far corner, and he finds the net again. It's a double right at the end of the game for Scott Wright, and it's turning into a comfortable victory in the end up for Rangers, who were sure that they didn't want to do Celtic's work for them tonight, and having trailed 2-0 in a big hole again in what's been a bitterly disappointing few days for them, they've turned this into a 5-star victory in the end. Rangers 5, Dundee 2.
Yeah, McCracken gets a hand to it, but it's far enough in the corner that it makes its way into the net. Tony Docherty will be furious, because I said at half-time that he'll be asking a question of his players. 2-1 up, we've been in these positions before, what have you got for me? Well, not very much in this second half. You can't be too critical of them, of course you can't, but you know, to concede 5 after being 2-0 up, that is disappointing, regardless of where you are.
Yeah, shades of the capitulation at Tynecastle, isn't it? I'm just praising Dundee's season, and no matter what happens tonight, I take nothing away from them, but it is disappointing for Tony Docherty to have been in such a good position. But again, it happens to teams so often when they come to Ibrox and Celtic Park, they concede a goal just before half-time, and it completely alters the complexion of it all.
And the manager's decisions going into half-time. Would he have made a couple of subs at half-time? You know, would he have had a completely different team talk?
That's a good ball again by Dodson into the Rangers box. It's a diving header away by Tavernier, and it's going to go out on this near side. Look at that stony face on Tony Docherty down there. Rangers reducing the goal difference at Ears to 4. That's as good as it's going to get for them tonight. It's all over. The managers shake hands down below us. Dundee surrendering a 2-0 lead given to them by McGee and Portales in a 2-minute spell in the first half on 38 and 40, but McCausland hauled Rangers back into it in first half stoppage time, and it was the Rangers show in the second half. They scored 4 unanswered goals in it. Dessers equalising on 52, Cantwell nudging Rangers ahead on 65, fortuitous as it was, and the cross comes shot from this near side. And then Scott Wright on 87, and in the 3rd minute of stoppage time, ensures that Rangers will win their last home game of the season, and it also ensures that Celtic will not win the title tonight. If they avoid defeat in Kilmarnock tomorrow, it will be their title. But Rangers have ensured that it doesn't happen without them kicking a ball. Massive congratulations to Stephen Robinson and to St Mirren as well. This result confirms a 5th place finish for them and a return to continental competition for the first time since 1987, when they famously lifted the Scottish Cup. Ian Ferguson's goal and all that against Dundee United. It's been a long time that they've had to wait for a return to European competition. They will go into the Conference League second qualifying round, and that is Scotland's European representatives rubber stamp now. Still bits and bobs to work out across the board in Scottish football. It's a busy week, and it finishes here at Ibrox, with Rangers moving to within 3 points and 4 goals of Celtic at the top of the table ahead of the champions' visit to Rugby Park tomorrow. Rangers 5, Dundee 2.